When I began researching this topic, I wondered how many of the world's historical geniuses would be considered mentally ill were they alive today. Turns out, probably many of them, from the autism of Michelangelo, schizophrenia of John Nash, OCD of Nikola Tesla, bipolar tendencies of Sylvia Plath and depression of Abraham Lincoln. There are many hypotheses to be made. In the end, what I really found interesting was the connection between mental illness and mind at the end of the spectrum. High IQ thought to protect against some forms of mental illness, but also potentially cause mental illness. Most mornings I turn on my fluorescent light, my computer, plug in the blow dryer after a warm morning shower. As I go down to the Marion Hall, I see cars driving around with its FM radios on. I push a button to pump juice out from the juice machine, and then sit down on a table and get ready for the day. The person who made all of these possible, Nikola Tesla, is a Croatian-born Serbian, later became an American immigrant in 1884, invented many of the technologies we still use today. Tesla's creations, whether FM radio, spark plugs, early computers, fluorescent lights, electrical generators, AC electricity, remote controls, or the Tesla coil used in TV and radio transmissions, all became essential and play critical roles in our daily life. I would like to borrow a little video just to introduce Tesla briefly to you.
Nikola Tesla was born on July 10, 1856 in the territory of modern-day Croatia to his two Serbian parents. Tesla once attempted to generate electricity by rubbing two cats together, which resulted in two very mad cats and a scratched-up Tesla. On June 6, 1884, Tesla arrived in the United States. He was hired by Thomas Edison to do basic electrical engineering, but moved up to redesigning the direct current generators that ran Edison's business. Edison offered Tesla $50,000, or about $1.1 million in today's currency, to make these improvements. After completing this assignment, Tesla asked about the payment for his work. Edison didn't pay out the money. He claimed that he wasn't serious about the payment, that Tesla didn't understand American humor. Tesla eventually left Edison's company and partnered with George Westinghouse in 1888 to commercialize his system of alternating current. The problem here is that alternating current competed with direct current, which Thomas Edison built his entire monopoly on. Thus began the War of the Currents. Edison started a massive smear campaign against Tesla and alternating current, trying to scare people away from using it. He spread false information about it, lobbied against its use, and went so far as to electrocute a circus elephant in public. Basically, Edison was a jerk. Direct current had plenty of its own faults. It was the cause of death of countless children and created numerous house fires. Also, the maximum reach of direct current was about 2 miles, which meant a substation had to be built to continue the current. To this day, they would still be building substations if they were going to get electricity across the U.S. Tesla's alternating current could go for hundreds of miles. Lights running on alternate current were bright white, unlike dull yellow lights running on direct current. Eventually, Edison had to give in to the demands of the people and had to go with alternating current. Tesla's influence spreads much further than electricity. He had over 700 patents and came up with ideas such as robots, spark plugs, the electric arc lamp, an X-ray device, bladeless turbines, wireless communication, laser technology, neon lights, remote control, cellular communication, radio, an electrical bath to remove germs, radar, and much more. Tesla died from heart failure in a room of the New York Hotel on January 7, 1943. Despite his fame and influence on the world, he died with significant debts and all alone. While Edison is known as the inventor of the century, Tesla is only acknowledged as a paragraph in today's history books, forgotten and unappreciated. Thus ends the story of Nikola Tesla.
Tesla lived a harsh life. Through reading the autobiography My Inventions by Nikola Tesla, the reason why he got ill from extent obsessive-compulsive disorder and other disorders surfaces. As much as Tesla was a genius, he was mentally ill. He didn't like to touch anything dirty around and he hated human hair. He loved the number 3. He only allowed numbers that is divisible by 3 to appear. He used 18 napkins at each meal. Only slept in hotels rooms assigned a number divisible by 3 and walked 3 times around a building before entering it. It turns out, Tesla's intelligence may have been the trigger of his mental illness. The same could be said of Sir Isaac Newton. Artist Vincent van Gogh or American mathematician John Nash. Newton suffered from anxiety problems. Van Gogh would probably have been labeled bipolar disorder were he alive today. Nash's sickness caused by schizophrenia was recorded in the book, A Beautiful Mind. John Forbes Nash, Jr. was born on June 13, 1928 in a small town called Bluefield, West Virginia. When Nash was little, he was brilliant and studious, but not very social. Since Nash was so smart, he finished his undergraduate degree in only 3 years and successfully enrolled in Princeton for his graduate degree. Because of his introverted personality, he lived on his own so that he could do his research during his graduate study. This is when his mental issues began. His wife admitted him to McLean Hospital at 1953. He was soon diagnosed with schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a disease that causes an overactive imagination and illusions. Nash studied math for his graduate degree, a field with abstract concepts that required enormous amount of imaginative work. This might be the reason why Nash didn't realize his own sickness when it was still in the cradle. Even worse, his math research caused him to believe what he imagined was real. Whether it indicates as schizophrenia, depression, anxiety or anorexia, mental illness is a medical condition. It affects a person's thoughts, mood and daily life often negatively. Some of the world's most creative minds suffered from mental illness. Outside the books, modern scientific researchers also proved this opinion, according to Wikipedia. By 2012, as many as 30 scientific studies had been completed that uncovered links between creativity and mental illness, particularly disorders that affected mood. Researchers conducting one such study of Swedish teenagers discovered straight-A students were 4 times more likely to develop bipolar disorder, a mental illness marked by alternating moods of elation and depression, illustrating a correlation between intelligence and higher instances of mental illness. As the study subjects' emotional state transitioned from low to high, there was evidence of increased activity in the frontal lobe of the brain. This area is known for regulating creativity. Concluding the life story of Nash and Tesla with the solid proof and evidence of modern science, it is fair to say that intelligence is related to mental issues, but this is not absolute. Not all of the scientists turn out to have psychodisabilities, proven by Nash's experience. Social ability is the factor that determines one's mental state, so my fellow intelligent classmates, just be aware of the presence of friends will actually have an effect mentally in your life. Thank you.